The only time that you're going to feel a stretch on a tissue or on a muscle is when that tissue or muscle isn't actually able to release enough to get to the point where it can actually support the end range that the joint is getting to, right? So it doesn't mean that if you feel some type of stretch is bad, that something is going to happen. Like, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is the reason that we don't really utilize in stretching, or the reason that we don't utilize stretching in our training or in our programming, is we do absolutely get to end ranges. We don't call it stretching because what we want to do is actually be able to shorten and lengthen the muscle tissue or the contractile tissue to support the joint in that end range that we're getting to. So, like, we'll get into an end range adduction or an end range groin position, right? But we're not going to call that a stretch. We're going to call that, let's say we call that a slow low, or we call it a pulse or whatever it is, right? And we call it that because we don't actually want to feel stretch. We want to feel ourselves able to pull into the position, not feel stretch, because if we can pull into the position, that means that we can shorten that tissue enough to where we can actually control the joint in the end range, versus having that tissue stop and then pull against it, because that stop and pull against it is what creates that feeling of stretch. And so that's why we don't use in quotation, stretching, but we do absolutely train in end ranges.